How did your unit mascot become more respected than actual leadership? It started with a stray cat. Skinny orange Tabby wandered onto our motor pool during a thunderstorm. Soaking wet, ribs showing, looked half dead. Our platoon sergeant at the time was this guy named Quincy. Absolutely hated anything that disrupted his perfect little kingdom. No personalization in the barracks. No music during work hours. No fun allowed, period. When he saw that cat, he ordered us to get rid of it immediately. Nobody moved. Private Everett, this quiet kid from Wyoming, scooped up the cat and tucked it inside his jacket. Said he'd find it a home off base. Quincy seemed satisfied. Problem solved. Except Everett didn't take the cat anywhere. He hid it in the supply room, started sneaking food from the dining facility, built a little bed out of old rags behind the filing cabinets. Word spread fast. Within a week, everyone knew about the cat except Quincy. We named him Sergeant Whiskers. Seemed fitting since he outranked most of us in attitude. That cat had zero respect for authority. Would knock things off desks, sleep wherever he wanted. Once walked across Quincy's paperwork during an inspection. Left muddy paw prints on everything. Quincy blamed the wind. Said someone left a window open. Never even considered a cat was living 20 feet from his office. Sergeant Whiskers became our unofficial therapist. Guys would visit the supply room after hard days. Just sit there petting him, talking about stuff they couldn't tell anyone else. Girlfriends who left. Parents who were sick. Fears about deployment. That cat listened better than any chaplain. Meanwhile, Quincy kept making life miserable. Extra duties for minor infractions. Weekend passes denied for no reason. Inspections at midnight because he felt like it. Morale was in the toilet. Guys were talking about not re-enlisting. Some were requesting transfers. The whole platoon was falling apart. But Sergeant Whiskers held us together. Sounds stupid, but it's true. That cat gave us something to care about. Something that was ours. That leadership couldn't touch. Then came the day everything almost fell apart. Battalion commander announced a surprise inspection. Full walkthrough of every building, every room, every closet. Scheduled for the next morning. Panic set in immediately. We had maybe 14 hours to hide a cat that had been living in our supply room for 3 months. Everett wanted to sneak him off base. Too risky. Someone might see. Wade suggested the ceiling tiles. Too dangerous. Cat might meow at the wrong moment. Finally, our medic Clayton came up with a plan. His buddy worked at the veterinary clinic on post. Said he could board Sergeant Whiskers for the day. Call it a stray intake. No questions asked. We wrapped that cat in a towel, stuffed him in a backpack, and Clayton sprinted across base at 2 in the morning. Made it to the clinic just before shift change. Inspection happened. Battalion commander found nothing. Quincy looked smug, like he'd personally cleaned every inch himself. That afternoon, Clayton went to retrieve our cat. The vet tech met him at the door with a strange expression. Your cat is pregnant, she said. Sergeant Whiskers was actually Sergeant Whiskers, a female cat who'd been hiding more than just herself in our supply room. 3 weeks later, she gave birth to 5 kittens behind those same filing cabinets. 5 tiny orange furballs that had no business existing in a military supply room. Now we had 6 cats to hide. The guys stepped up like I'd never seen. Rotating feeding schedules, litter box duties assigned like guard shifts. Someone even made a little birth certificate for each kitten, complete with fake ranks and service numbers. Quincy got transferred 2 months later. Nobody was sad to see him go. His replacement was this sergeant named Griffin. Totally different leadership style. Actually talked to soldiers like human beings. First week on the job, Griffin found Sergeant Whiskers sitting on his desk chair. He just laughed, asked how long we'd been hiding a cat. Everett told him the whole story. Every detail. Every close call. Every midnight rescue mission. Griffin thought about it for a long moment. Then he said something none of us expected. She stays. But those kittens need homes. We adopted out 4 of them to families on base. Kept one, a little runt we named Lieutenant Fluffington. He had a crooked tail and one eye that never opened right. Perfect mascot material. Sergeant Whiskers lived in that supply room for 6 more years. Outlasted 3 platoon sergeants, 2 company commanders, and 1 complete renovation of the building. The contractors worked around her. When she finally passed, we gave her a proper send-off. Small ceremony behind the motor pool. Griffin said a few words. Everett cried like a baby. We all did, honestly. Someone made a shadow box with her collar, a photo, and a tiny American flag. Hung it in the supply room where she'd spent her whole career. New soldiers would ask about it. We tell them the story of the cat who taught us more about loyalty and leadership than any training manual ever could. Lieutenant Fluffington is 11 years old now. Still lives on post with Griffin's family. He retired last year. Took the cat with him. Every Veterans Day, he sends a photo to our group chat. Fluffington wearing a tiny service cap, sitting next to that shadow box. The caption is always the same. Still outranking all of you.